I first started experiencing problems with sciatica following some very bad wrecks in my car in the 70s, and waited a full year with sciatica and profound pain before I even sought a doctor because I thought it might go away on its own. It did not. That surgeon had me in physical therapy and doing epidural steroid injections for about a year before he finally agreed to do the surgery because he said I was not a great candidate. I had multi-disc disease. One disc was herniated in the lumbar spine, but the two above and below were bulging and ready to go as well. But he finally did the surgery, and it was successful until I fell about 5 years later and blew a whole bunch of my discs. And at that point, I started looking at other alternatives to surgery. I didn't want to repeat it, but I ended up having to. I had to retire with full disability after about 30 years of working with children. And I had my second surgery in 2004. It was mildly successful, but then I had a surgery that caused sepsis and ultimately necrotizing fasciitis. So I had to fight that, 3 surgeries to stop that, and what a nightmare. My life went away overnight. I just kind of lived in limbo. I had no strength. It took years to regain the ability just to walk to my mailbox. And I finally started seeking the assistance of a pain specialist. And he was the one who tried cauterization of the nerves and more nerve blocks and more epidurals, all of which were not successful, at which point he referred me to Dr. Joseph for consideration of the trial use of a spinal cord stimulator. And the trial was successful, so I opted to go ahead and have the implant done. Unfortunately, the implant itself was not as effective as the trial device had been. So within several months of that implant, I was back at Dr. Joseph's office asking him what he could do for me, at which time he explained to me about the hardware that they were developing and asked if I would be interested, and I said absolutely, because I want my life back. I can't grocery shop, I can't cook, I can't clean, I need to function. And I'm not that old, I just turned 65, and I feel like I should be a lot more vital than that. So we did the surgery in January of 2019. It was 2 surgeries. The first one consisted of him removing my old fusion hardware, which was vertical pedicle screws that secured the vertebra to each other. And he took those out and waited a day, and then the next day put in the new hardware, which consists of the little titanium boat-shaped devices and lateral rather than vertical screws. And it was remarkable. I have never had a surgery like that in which I was so able to just get up out of bed and walk around. They want you up that first 24 hours anyway, and I'm very good about that. But this was, okay, I'm up and I don't have that profound pain now. I have pain from surgery, but not from my nerves being pinched all the time. And my pain had gotten so severe that it wasn't just sciatica. It would switch back and forth from left to right and sometimes both sides simultaneously, but I also began having incredibly painful spasms that went literally from my rib cage down into my ankle. My whole side would lock up like that. And I called them lightning pains. I didn't know that they were spasms. I'd never had spasms before. It wasn't until I spoke to a doctor and said, that's spasming. I always thought it was like little muscle tics or something. And yeah, those are tics. Those are not spasms. So the absence of those spasms, they started to diminish right away. I had fewer episodes and they lasted less time. But towards the end of the summer of 2020, they went away and they did not return, which was incredible. And probably
the summer of 2019?
2019. Is that, what did I say?
2020.
Oh, 2019, yes, last summer, which was very fortunate because I had a lot to deal with my husband's illness. I can't tell you what it's like to be without this pain. I'm constantly saying, thank you, God, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Joseph, thank you, because the first thing I think of when I wake up in the morning is, I'm not in pain. I can stand up. I don't have to grab onto my walker to get up. I can just stand up and walk downstairs and take care of feeding my animals and getting them outside and make my coffee, and move about normally without profound pain. I still have some issues with standing and walking for protracted periods of time, but it's getting better. I'm working out at a gym to strengthen core muscles to hopefully continue to improve. And when I go to bed at night, the last thing I say is, thank you, God, for the absence of profound pain. Because to be able to lie down and not feel like you have knives buried in your muscles from your thigh on down is just incredible. I could not be more pleased with the outcome of this surgery. I'm thrilled.
Well, we're so happy for you and happy you came to us. I wanted to ask you how you felt about being the very first patient.
I was excited about that. I didn't know initially until after the surgery. He said, you know you're the first one to get this hardware, right? And I said, no, I did not know that. And he explained that the trial devices had been made of plastics. And I'm grateful that I have the metal implants and that they will last me the rest of my life, that I don't have deterioration of the device to look forward to.